Welcome to Ancient Relics Keeper, where buried mysteries, unsolved phenomena, and the darkest corners of history slowly unravel through chilling tales and forgotten truths waiting to be uncovered. Fuxian Lake sits quietly in Yunnan, China, its glassy surface reflecting the sky and surrounding hills. At 1,720 meters above sea level, this deep, pristine lake plunging 155 meters at its core seems like a peaceful retreat. Yet, beneath its calm waters lies a mystery that has gripped explorers and scientists. A submerged city, hidden for centuries. Stone walls, staircases, and pillars rest on the lakebed, hinting at a lost civilization. This is no ordinary discovery, it's a puzzle that could reshape our understanding of ancient China or prove to be nature's clever deception. The lake's beauty hides its secrets well. Nestled among green hills, it has long been a place of quiet wonder for local villagers. They've shared stories for generations about a phantom city that appears on clear days, when sunlight pierces the water and reveals faint shapes below. These tales were once dismissed as folklore, the kind of myths that cling to mysterious places. But in 2001, divers changed everything. Expecting only fish and sediment, they found massive stone structures instead, walls stretching dozens of meters, moss-covered steps, and tall, symmetrical pillars. The site, spanning 2.4 square kilometers, looked like a planned settlement, not a random pile of rocks. Was this a city lost to time? The discovery sparked excitement worldwide. The structures were too precise to ignore. Straight-edged walls, evenly spaced steps, and cylindrical pillars suggested advanced engineering, far beyond what nature might sculpt. Some compared it to Atlantis, the legendary city swallowed by the sea. Like that fabled place, Fuxian Lake City seems to have vanished suddenly, leaving only fragments behind. Its scale and craftsmanship point to a sophisticated society, but no clear record explains its existence. The Book of Han, an ancient Chinese text, mentions Yuan, the capital of the Dian Kingdom, which thrived in this region until 86 BCE. Could these ruins be Yuan, submerged by a forgotten disaster? Skeptics, however, urge caution. They argue the city might be a natural formation. Basalt rock can fracture into shapes that mimic human construction: flat slabs, hexagonal columns, or smooth platforms. Erosion and sediment could enhance the illusion, tricking the eye into seeing architecture where none exists. Without undeniable artifacts like tools or weapons from the initial dives, some scientists hesitate to call it a city. Is this just our imagination at work, seeing patterns in chaos? Yet, the site's organization challenges that view. The walls align too neatly, the steps are too uniform, and the pillars are too perfect for mere coincidence. Nature rarely builds with such precision. Local legends add intrigue. Long before divers arrived, villagers spoke of a city glowing beneath the lake, visible only when conditions were perfect. These stories, passed down through centuries, suggest people have seen something here for ages. They call it a phantom city, a place that flickers into view before vanishing. The tales predate modern technology, hinting at a truth buried in myth. Whether it's a real city or a natural quirk, the stories give Fuxian Lake an aura of mystery, drawing in those who love the unknown. The site's potential is staggering. If it's a city, it could belong to the Dian Kingdom, known for its bronze work and complex society. A catastrophic earthquake or flood might have submerged it, erasing it from history. Alternatively, it could be the work of an unknown culture older and stranger than the Dian. China's meticulous records mention no such place, which only deepens the enigma. Why would a city this grand be forgotten? The lack of answers fuels curiosity, making Fuxian Lake a magnet for adventurers and scholars alike. The lake itself enhances the mystique. Its clear water lets you peer into the depths, where shadows dance and spark the imagination. The misty hills and quiet villages around it feel like guardians of a secret. Standing on the shore, you can't help but wonder what lies below. Fuxian Lake is more than a body of water, it's a gateway to the past, a challenge to uncover what's been lost. Whether it holds a true city or a geological trick, its story captivates. As we explore its depths, we chase a piece of history, a chance to reveal a world time tried to hide. Fuxian Lake, one of the deepest in China, holds secrets in its depths, secrets that villagers have whispered about for generations. Secrets that shimmer into view on clear, sunny days. They call it the Phantom City, a ghostly vision of towers and walls reflected on the water's surface, a fleeting glimpse of something lost to time. Stretching across 212 square kilometers, Fuxian Lake is no ordinary body of water. It sits high in the mountains, 1,720 meters above sea level, its elevation giving it an almost otherworldly feel. The lake plunges to a staggering 155 meters at its deepest point, a dark abyss where sunlight fades into shadow. This depth is part of what makes Fuxian Lake so unique. It's deeper than many lakes in the world, its waters cold and clear, preserving whatever lies below like a time capsule. The surrounding landscape only adds to its mystique. To the west, the hills rise in gentle waves, dotted with pine trees and small farms. To the east, the land flattens into fertile plains, where villagers have lived for centuries, their lives intertwined with the lake's rhythms. The water itself is a lifeline used for fishing, irrigation, and even drinking, yet it's also a source of wonder, a place that feels alive with stories. The lake's geology tells a story of its own. Formed millions of years ago, Fuxian Lake lies in a tectonic basin, carved out by the slow grinding of the Earth's crust. Its bedrock is a mix of limestone and basalt, materials that have shaped the region's history. Limestone dissolves over time, creating caves and underground channels, while basalt can fracture into sharp, geometric shapes. These geological quirks make the lake a natural vault, capable of preserving ancient structures or artifacts in near-perfect condition. The water's clarity is another key factor. On a good day, you can see 10 to 20 meters down, the sunlight piercing the surface to reveal a world of swaying plants and darting fish. But it's not just fish that catch the eye. For as long as anyone can remember, locals have reported seeing something else, something that defies explanation. The heart of Fuxian Lake's mystery lies in the stories told by those who live on its shores. Villagers, many of whom trace their families back generations, speak of a phenomenon that has become legend, the Phantom City. On clear, sunny days, when the lake is still and the light hits just right, they say you can see Ida City reflected on the water's surface. Not a vague blur, but distinct shapes. Walls, towers, even staircases, glowing in the sunlight before fading away. These visions are fleeting, lasting only moments, but they've left an indelible mark on the community. Elders tell of ancestors who saw the same thing, passing down tales of a great city that once stood where the lake now lies. Some describe it as a place of grandeur, with stone buildings and bustling streets. Others say it's a ghostly echo, a memory trapped in the water. These stories aren't just idle gossip. They carry weight woven into the fabric of daily life. Fishermen, casting their nets at dawn, keep an eye out for the telltale shimmer. Farmers, pausing by the shore, share tales of what their grandparents saw. Children grow up hearing about the Phantom City, their imaginations sparked by the idea of a hidden world. One villager, an old woman named Li Mei, has become something of a local historian. She describes a sighting from her youth, when she stood on the shore with her father and saw the water light up. It was like a painting, she says, her voice soft but sure. I saw walls, tall and straight, and steps leading somewhere deep. It was there, then gone. Her story is one of many, each adding to the lake's aura of mystery. What makes these accounts so compelling is their consistency. The Phantom City isn't a vague concept, it's described with startling detail. Some speak of a pyramid-like structure, its edges sharp against the water. Others mention long, straight walls, as if outlining a massive plaza. A few even claim to have seen what looked like a gate, flanked by pillars. These descriptions align eerily with what divers found in 2001. Stone structures, including walls, staircases, and pillars, scattered across the lakebed. The villagers' stories predate that discovery by centuries, suggesting they've been seeing something real for a very long time. Could these reflections be a window into the past, a glimpse of a city lost to history? The phenomenon itself is tied to the lake's unique conditions. Its high altitude and clear water create perfect conditions for optical effects. When the sun is at the right angle, light can penetrate deep into the lake, bouncing off submerged objects and back to the surface. This creates a mirror-like reflection, amplifying whatever lies below. Scientists call it a form of refraction, but to the locals it's magic. They believe the lake is alive, a guardian of secrets that reveals itself only to those who pay attention. Some even tie the visions to ancient spirits, saying the city belongs to a forgotten people who still linger in the water. These beliefs add a layer of enchantment, making every sighting feel like a brush with the supernatural. The lake's role in preserving history can't be overstated. Its depth and cold temperatures slow decay, protecting anything submerged from the ravages of time. Sediments settle gently, encasing objects in a protective layer. This makes Fuxian Lake a natural archive, capable of safeguarding relics that would crumble on land. If there is a city below, the lake has kept it intact, its walls and steps untouched by the centuries. The same conditions that preserve these structures also make them hard to study. The depth and pressure pose challenges for divers, and the water's clarity can be deceptive, hiding as much as it reveals. Yet, it's this very inaccessibility that fuels the mystery, keeping the Phantom City just out of reach. The villagers' stories also hint at a deeper truth. Many believe the lake was once smaller, its waters rising over time to swallow the land. This aligns with geological evidence suggesting the region has seen significant tectonic activity. Earthquakes, common in Yunnan, could have shifted the landscape, flooding what was once a thriving settlement. The Phantom City, then, might be a memory of that lost world, preserved in the lake's reflective surface. Some locals go further, weaving tales of a lake goddess who protects the city, allowing it to appear only to those she deems worthy. These myths blend with history, creating a narrative that's as captivating as it is elusive. Fuxian Lake's tranquil surface belies its power. It's a place where nature and legend intertwine, where a simple reflection can spark 1,000 questions. The villagers' tales of the Phantom City are more than folklore theory clues, pointing to something extraordinary beneath the waves. Whether it's a real city, a natural formation, or something in between, the lake holds its secrets tightly. Standing on its shore, watching the water shimmer in the sunlight, you can't help but feel the pull of the unknown. The Phantom City is out there, waiting, its story etched in stone and shadow. As we prepare to dive deeper, we carry the villagers' stories with us, a reminder that sometimes the past speaks loudest in whispers. In the summer of 2001, Fuxian Lake, a tranquil expanse in Yunnan, China, became the stage for a discovery that would stun the world. What began as a routine dive into the lake's crystal-clear depths turned into an encounter with the past, one that defied expectations and ignited a global fascination. Beneath the water's surface, divers found something extraordinary. Moss-covered staircases, towering walls, and carved pillars, all arranged in a way that suggested a planned settlement sprawling across 2.4 square kilometers. This wasn't a scattering of random rocks, but a complex network of structures, hinting at a lost city hidden for centuries. The find was unlike anything seen before, a silent testament to a civilization that time had nearly erased. Fuxian Lake had long been a place of quiet beauty, known to locals for its fishing and the strange tales of a phantom city reflected on sunny days. Yet no one expected what the divers would uncover. The team, led by a group of amateur archaeologists and local enthusiasts, set out to explore the lake's depths, armed with basic scuba gear and a curiosity about the old stories. They were prepared for fish, plants, and perhaps some natural rock formations. Instead, they found themselves face to face with architecture. As they descended, the water grew darker, the pressure heavier, but the lake's clarity revealed a surreal scene. Wide, shallow steps, covered in green moss, stretched out before them, leading into the gloom. Nearby, a massive stone wall loomed, its surface worn but unmistakably deliberate. And then there were the pillars, tall, cylindrical, and carved with precision, standing like sentinels in the underwater world. The staircases were the first to capture the divers' attention. These weren't crude or uneven, like you might expect from natural erosion. They were broad, each step roughly the same height and width, as if designed for human feet. The moss that clung to them gave the steps an eerie, almost magical glow, the green contrasting with the lake's blue hues. Some staircases descended in straight lines, others curved gently, suggesting they led to different levels of the settlement. One diver, a man named Chun Wei, later described the moment he touched the steps. It felt like stepping into a dream. The stones were smooth, like they'd been polished long ago. I could imagine people walking there centuries back. The stairs alone were enough to suggest purpose, but they were only the beginning. The walls were even more impressive. Rising several meters high, they stretched across the lake bed, some sections running for dozens of meters without a break. These weren't piles of loose boulders but carefully fitted stones, their edges straight and their surfaces aligned. The largest wall, dubbed the Great Wall by the team, was a marvel. It stood nearly 5 meters tall, its base buried in sediment, and its top still sharp against the water. The stones were massive, some weighing several tons, yet they were placed with a precision that spoke of skilled hands. The divers noted how the wall seemed to outline a large open space, perhaps a plaza or courtyard. Smaller walls branched off, forming what looked like rooms or pathways, creating a maze-like pattern that hinted at a city's layout. Then there were the pillars, the most striking feature of all. Scattered across the site, these cylindrical columns stood upright, some as tall as 3 meters. Their surfaces were smooth, with faint carvings that suggested decorative patterns, though time and water had worn them down. The pillars were evenly spaced in some areas, as if marking the boundaries of a grand structure, a temple, a palace, or a ceremonial site. One cluster of pillars formed a near-perfect circle, a formation that sent chills down the divers' spines. It was too deliberate, too organized to be natural. The pillars' craftsmanship suggested a culture with advanced tools and a sense of artistry, capable of transforming raw stone into something beautiful. What made the discovery so remarkable was the sheer scale of the site. Covering an estimated 2.4 square kilometers, the settlement was vast, larger than many modern towns. The divers mapped out multiple zones, each with its own distinct features. In one area, the staircases dominated, leading to platforms that might have been foundations for buildings. In another, the walls formed a grid, suggesting streets or districts. A third zone was marked by the pillars, their circular arrangement hinting at a place of significance. The layout was coherent, with structures connected in a way that implied planning. This wasn't a haphazard collection of rocks, but a settlement designed with intention, a place where people lived, worked, and perhaps worshipped. The divers' initial reports caused a stir. The discovery also raised questions about how such a place ended up underwater. The lake's depth and geological history offered clues. Fuxian Lake sits in a tectonic basin, prone to earthquakes that could have fractured the land, causing parts of it to sink. A massive quake, perhaps centuries ago, might have submerged the settlement in a single catastrophic event. Alternatively, a gradual rise in the lake's water level, triggered by tectonic shifts or heavy rains, could have slowly claimed the city. The moss on the staircases and the sediment around the walls suggested the structures had been underwater for a long time, preserved by the lake's cold, oxygen-poor environment. Whatever the cause, the settlement's fate was sealed, its story buried until the divers arrived. Skeptics, however, urged caution. Some geologists argued that the structures could be natural formations. Basalt, common in the region, can fracture into flat slabs or columns that mimic human construction. Limestone, another local rock, can erode into step-like shapes. These processes, combined with the lake's currents, might have created the illusion of a city. Yet, the site's organization challenged this view. The staircases were too uniform, the walls too straight, and the pillars too precisely carved to be easily dismissed as nature's work. Early dives found no tools or weapons, which skeptics pointed to as a lack of human evidence, but the structures themselves were hard to explain away. A natural formation spanning 2.4 square kilometers, with such intricate details, would be a geological anomaly. The local context added weight to the divers' find. Villagers had long spoken of a phantom city, visible on clear days when the lake reflected strange shapes. These stories, passed down for generations, described walls, steps, and towers eerily similar to what the divers found. The tales suggested that knowledge of the settlement had survived, even if its history had not. The 2001 discovery gave these legends new life, turning folklore into a potential clue. If the villagers' ancestors had seen the city before it sank, or witnessed its submersion, their stories might hold the key to understanding what happened. The 2001 dive was just the beginning. It opened a window into a mystery that continues to unfold. The moss-covered staircases, towering walls, and carved pillars are more than relics theory, a challenge to our understanding of the past. They suggest a planned settlement, a place where people built with purpose and skill, only to vanish from the record. Whether it's the lost capital of the Dien Kingdom, a forgotten culture, or something else entirely, the site demands exploration. Standing on the shore of Fuxian Lake, knowing what lies below, you can't help but feel the pull of the unknown. The divers of 2001 cracked open a door to history, and now it's up to us to step through. By 2023, Fuxian Lake had already captured the world's imagination with its mysterious underwater structures. The 2001 discovery of moss-covered staircases, towering walls, and carved pillars hinted at a lost city, but early dives left many questions unanswered. To uncover more, researchers turned to cutting-edge technology. Between 2023 and 2024, advanced surveys using sonar scans, remotely operated vehicles, ROVs, and satellite imagery painted a clearer picture of the lakebed. These tools revealed stunning details: pyramid-like formations, multi-tiered stair systems, and walls stretching tens of meters. Artifacts, including pottery and stone relics dated to roughly 1,750 years ago, added weight to the idea of a forgotten settlement. The findings deepened the mystery, showing a site far more complex than anyone had imagined. Fuxian Lake's depth plunging to 155 meters makes exploration tricky. Traditional diving is risky at such depths, with limited time and visibility. That's where modern technology stepped in. Sonar scans became the backbone of the 2023-2024 surveys. These devices send sound waves to the lakebed, bouncing back to create detailed maps of what lies below. Unlike human eyes, sonar can see through murky water and sediment, revealing shapes and structures hidden in the dark. The results were jaw-dropping. The scans showed a sprawling network of features covering 2.4 square kilometers, with clear outlines of walls, platforms, and steps. The precision of the maps gave researchers a bird's-eye view of the site, something the 2001 divers could only dream of. Remotely operated vehicles took the exploration further. These small, robotic submarines, equipped with cameras and lights, could navigate the lake's depths for hours, capturing high-definition video. ROVs maneuvered through narrow gaps and along steep drops, filming areas too dangerous for divers. One ROV, operated by a team from a Chinese university, recorded a striking find: a pyramid-like structure, about 10 meters tall, with sloped sides and a flat top. Its shape was eerily similar to ancient ceremonial platforms found elsewhere in China. The ROV's cameras also zoomed in on multi-tiered stair systems, where steps were stacked in layers, some leading to flat terraces. These terraces, covered in silt and moss, looked like they once supported buildings or open spaces. The walls captured on video were equally impressive. Some stretched over 50 meters, their stones fitted tightly together like pieces of a puzzle. The ROV footage showed how the walls formed enclosures, possibly rooms or courtyards, with smaller walls branching off to create a grid-like pattern. The scale and organization suggested a planned settlement, not a random scattering of rocks. Satellite imagery added another layer to the surveys. From above, satellites captured the lake's surface and surrounding terrain, helping researchers spot patterns invisible from the ground. By analyzing water currents and sediment flow, they identified areas where structures were likely buried. The imagery also showed how the lake's shape had changed over centuries, suggesting tectonic shifts or floods that could have submerged the site. Combining satellite data with sonar maps, the team created 3D models of the settlement, giving a virtual tour of its layout. These models showed a complex site with distinct zones. One area heavy with stairs, another dominated by walls, and a third marked by the pyramid-like structure. The artifacts recovered during these surveys were a game-changer. ROVs and limited dives brought up fragments of pottery and carved stones, carefully collected from the lakebed. The pottery pieces, though broken, had smooth surfaces and faint patterns, typical of vessels used for storage or rituals. Stone relics included small, polished slabs with etched designs, possibly tools or ceremonial objects. Experts dated these items to around 250 CE, placing them in the post-Yen Kingdom era, after its decline in 86 BCE. The age aligned with the structure's estimated timeline, strengthening the theory that this was a significant settlement. The artifacts weren't flashy gold or jewels, but their craftsmanship showed a society with resources and skill. The pyramid-like formation became a focal point of debate. Its shape and size suggested it wasn't just a pile of rocks but a deliberate construction, possibly a temple or altar. Similar structures in ancient China were often linked to religious or astronomical purposes, used for ceremonies or tracking the stars. The ROV footage showed the pyramid's base was square, with steps leading up one side, hinting at access for rituals. Its location near a cluster of pillars added to the idea of a sacred space. Researchers speculated it could have been the heart of the settlement, a place where people gathered to honor their gods or leaders. The multi-tiered stair systems were another standout. These weren't single flights of steps but complex networks, with platforms breaking up the descent. Some stairs were wide, others narrow, suggesting different uses perhaps for processions, daily movement, or accessing different levels of the site. The terraces they led to were flat and spacious, ideal for buildings or open plazas. The sonar maps showed how the stairs connected to walls, forming a cohesive layout. This level of planning pointed to a community with a clear vision, capable of organizing labor and materials on a large scale. The walls, meanwhile, told a story of endurance. Their length and height, some rising 5 meters, showed they were built to last. The stones, some weighing tons, were cut and placed with care, their edges still sharp after centuries underwater. The ROVs captured how the walls curved or intersected, creating what looked like streets or districts. The long barrier wall, in particular, seemed to define a boundary, perhaps separating a central area from the rest of the settlement. Its carvings, though faint, suggested it wasn't just functional but also a canvas for expression. Despite the clarity of these findings, challenges remained. The lake's depth limited ROV operations, and sediment often clouded the cameras. Some areas were too risky to explore, with unstable rocks or strong currents. The artifacts, while valuable, were few, leaving gaps in the story. Still, the 2023-2024 surveys transformed our understanding of Fuxian Lake. The sonar, ROVs, and satellites revealed a site that was vast, organized, and purposeful. The pyramid, stairs, and walls pointed to a settlement with advanced engineering, while the artifacts tied it to a specific time in history. Skeptics, however, raised doubts. Some argued the structures could be natural, with basalt fracturing into geometric shapes over time. The pyramid, they said, might be a weathered hill, and the stairs could be eroded limestone. But the site's scale and coherence made these explanations less convincing. Natural formations rarely form grids or carved pillars. The artifacts, though limited, were undeniably human-made, their age matching the structures. The surveys didn't settle the debate but tilted it toward the idea of a man-made settlement. The 2023-2024 findings brought Fuxian Lake into sharper focus. The technology peeled back layers of mystery, revealing a site that feels alive with history. The pyramid-like formation, multi-tiered stairs, and sprawling walls suggest a community that thrived, built, and then vanished. The artifacts anchor it to a time just after the Dian Kingdom, hinting at a lost chapter of Yunnan's past. Yet, the lake keeps some secrets close, its depths still hiding parts of the story. As we move deeper into this mystery, the surveys remind us, Fuxian Lake is no ordinary place. It's a puzzle, a window into a world we're only beginning to understand. Fuxian Lake's underwater structures, discovered staircases, towering walls, and carved pillars, have sparked endless questions about their origins. The discovery of a sprawling settlement beneath the lake points to a sophisticated society. But who were these people, and why did their city vanish? The most compelling clue lies in the historical context of the region. The Dian Kingdom, a vibrant civilization that thrived in Yunnan until its mysterious disappearance after 86 BCE. Known for its advanced culture, intricate bronze work, and complex social structure, the Dian Kingdom is the leading candidate for the creators of the submerged city. Ancient texts hint at a capital called Yuyuan, a bustling hub that faded from history. Could the ruins in Fuxian Lake be the remnants of Yuyuan, swallowed by some ancient catastrophe? Exploring the Dian Kingdom's rise, reign, and sudden end brings us closer to unraveling the lake's enigma. The Dian Kingdom emerged around the 4th century BCE in what is now Yunnan, a region of rugged mountains, fertile plains, and deep lakes. Unlike the centralized empires of northern China, such as the Qin or Han, the Dian were a regional power, ruling over a diverse mix of tribes and communities. Their territory stretched across modern-day Yunnan, centered around the fertile basin where Fuxian Lake now sits. This area was ideal for agriculture, with rich soil and a mild climate supporting crops like rice and millet. The Dian also controlled key trade routes, connecting China to Southeast Asia and India. Goods like bronze, jade, and cowrie shells flowed through their markets, making them a wealthy and influential player in the ancient world. What set the Dian apart was their cultural sophistication. Archaeological finds, particularly from sites like Fuxian and Lijiashan, reveal a society with remarkable craftsmanship. The Dian were masters of bronze, creating intricate weapons, drums, and figurines that rivaled the work of their northern neighbors. Their bronze artifacts often depicted scenes of daily life warriors on horseback, farmers tending fields, and elaborate rituals. These objects weren't just practical. They were artistic, showing a deep appreciation for beauty and storytelling. One famous artifact, a bronze drum from Fuxian, features detailed carvings of a ceremonial procession, complete with musicians and dancers. Such finds suggest the Dian had a rich cultural life, with music, dance, and religion at its core. The Dian's social structure was equally complex. They were led by a king or chieftain, supported by a class of nobles and warriors. Below them were farmers, artisans, and traders, each playing a role in the kingdom's prosperity. The Dian society was hierarchical but interconnected, with villages and towns linked by trade and shared traditions. Their settlements were often built near water lakes, rivers, or springs, reflecting their reliance on agriculture and fishing. Fuxian Lake, with its clear waters and fertile surroundings, would have been a prime location for a major Dian settlement. Its depth and size offered protection, while its proximity to trade routes made it a natural hub. Historical records from ancient China provide glimpses of the Dian's world. The Book of Han, written during the Han Dynasty, 206 BCE to 20 CE, describes the Dian as a powerful kingdom with a capital called Yuan. The text paints Yuan as a thriving center, home to markets, temples, and a royal court. It was a place where bronze was forged, crops were stored, and leaders planned their campaigns. The Book of Han also notes the Dian's independence, saying they resisted Han control for years. In 109 BCE, the Han emperor sent envoys to negotiate with the Dian king, offering titles and gifts in exchange for loyalty. The Dian accepted, but their autonomy remained intact for decades, a testament to their strength. Yet, the Dian's story takes a mysterious turn after 86 BCE. Around this time, the kingdom seems to vanish from historical records. The Book of Han mentions no major battles, plagues, or conquests that would explain their decline. Other texts, like the records of the Grand Historian by Sima Qian, are equally silent. It's as if the Dian simply faded away, their cities abandoned, their people scattered. This sudden disappearance is one of the great puzzles of ancient Chinese history. Some historians believe the Dian were absorbed by neighboring tribes or integrated into the expanding Han Empire. Others suggest internal conflicts or environmental changes played a role. Whatever the cause, the Dian's legacy endured in their artifacts and the stories of Yunnan's people. The underwater structures in Fuxian Lake align closely with the Dian's era and territory. The artifacts recovered from the lake pottery fragments and carved stones date to around 250 CE, just after the Dian's decline. However, the structures themselves, estimated at 1,750 years old, could place them in the kingdom's final days or shortly after. The site's location, near the heart of Dian territory, strengthens the connection. Yuan, the capital described in the Book of Han, is a strong contender for the submerged city. Its description as a major hub matches the scale of the lakebed settlement, which spans 2.4 square kilometers and includes walls, staircases, and pillars. The pyramid-like formation found in 2023 surveys could have been a ceremonial platform, a common feature in Dian settlements. The Dian's architectural style also supports the link. Their settlements often featured stone and earth platforms, used for homes, temples, or burials. The staircases in Fuxian Lake, with their wide, even steps, resemble those found at other Dian sites, designed for processions or access to elevated areas. The walls, stretching tens of meters, echo the defensive structures the Dian built to protect their towns. The carved pillars, with faint patterns, recall the Dian's love for decoration, seen in their bronze work. While no bronze artifacts have been found in the lake, the stone structures share the same sense of purpose and craftsmanship. The Dian were builders capable of creating lasting monuments, and the lakebed city fits their profile. So why did Yuyuan, if it is Yuyuan, end up underwater? The Dian's disappearance after 86 BCE offers clues. Yunnan is a tectonically active region, prone to earthquakes that can reshape the landscape. A major quake could have fractured the ground beneath Yuan, causing it to sink into the lake. Geological studies show Fuxian Lake's basin has shifted over centuries, with parts of the surrounding land subsiding. A catastrophic earthquake around the 1st century BCE or later could have triggered a landslide or fault movement, submerging the city in a single event. The lake's depth would have preserved the structures, sealing them in a watery tomb. Another possibility is flooding. The Dian relied on water for agriculture, but heavy rains or a sudden shift in the lake's level could have overwhelmed their settlements. Ancient records mention wetter climates in Yunnan during the Han period, which might have swollen rivers and lakes. If Yuyuan was built close to the lake's edge, a massive flood could have claimed it, leaving no trace on the surface. The moss and sediment covering the lakebed structures suggest they've been underwater for centuries, supporting the idea of a sudden, permanent submersion. There's also the chance of human factors. The Dian's decline coincided with the Han Empire's growing influence. While no records describe a direct conquest, political pressure or trade disruptions could have weakened the kingdom. Internal strife, such as a power struggle among nobles, might have led to Yuyuan's abandonment. If the city was deserted before it sank, it would explain the lack of personal items like tools or jewelry in the lake. The Dian might have fled, leaving their capital to the mercy of nature. Over time, the lake rose or the land sank, erasing Yuyuan from view. Skeptics, however, question the Yuyuan connection. Without definitive artifacts like Dian bronze drums, some argue the site could belong to another culture or even be a natural formation. Basalt and limestone in the region can mimic man-made shapes, and the lake's currents might have arranged rocks into patterns. Yet, the site's scale, with its organized walls and stairs, makes a natural explanation less likely. The pottery and stones, dated to the post-Dian period, suggest human activity, even if the exact culture remains unclear. The absence of written records about Yuyuan's fate is a hurdle, but ancient texts often overlooked regional powers like the Dian, focusing instead on the Han heartland. The local context adds intrigue. Villagers around Fuxian Lake have long told of a phantom city, reflected in the water, a story predating the 2001 discovery. These tales might preserve memories of Yuyuan, passed down as legend after its submersion. The Dian were known for their spiritual beliefs, with rituals tied to water and mountains. A city built near a sacred lake like Fuxian would fit their worldview, perhaps serving as a religious or political center. The pyramid-like structure could have been a place of worship, its steps used for offerings or ceremonies. Exploring the Dian kingdom's history brings the lake's mystery into focus. Their thriving culture, with its bronze art and organized settlements, matches the sophistication of the underwater city. Their sudden disappearance after 86 BCE mirrors the site's abandonment, whether by quake, flood, or human choice. Yuyuan, the capital described in ancient texts, is the best fit for the lakebed ruins, its walls and pillars a silent echo of Dian glory. Yet, gaps remain, no bronze, no inscriptions, no clear proof. The Dian story is one of brilliance and loss, and Fuxian Lake might hold its final chapter. As we dive deeper, the kingdom's shadow looms large, urging us to uncover what time and water have hidden. The submerged city beneath Fuxian Lake, with its moss-covered staircases, towering walls, and carved pillars, has long been linked to the Dian kingdom. But what if the truth is stranger? Some researchers and locals propose a bold idea. The structures might not belong to any known civilization. Instead, they could reflect advanced knowledge tied to the stars or even extraterrestrial influences. The site's unusual features, like the precise alignments of its pillars and pyramid-like formations, suggest a possible astronomical purpose. Local myths about star-guided builders add to the mystery, hinting at a purpose beyond human understanding. This theory, though speculative, makes Fuxian Lake feel like a cosmic enigma, challenging everything we think we know. The 2023-2024 surveys using sonar and ROVs uncover details that don't easily fit with typical ancient architecture. The pyramid-like structure, 10 meters tall with a flat top, stands out. Its square base and sloped sides are built with uncanny precision, resembling platforms used by ancient cultures to track stars or planets. Nearby, a group of pillars forms a near-perfect circle. When mapped, these pillars align with constellations visible in Yunnan's sky around 250 CE, the same period as the lake's artifacts. This alignment isn't random, it suggests the builders had deep knowledge of astronomy, possibly using the pillars to mark solstices or key stars. Such precision is rare for a regional culture like the Dian, raising questions about where this knowledge came from. Local myths fuel the speculation. For centuries, villagers have told stories of a city built by people from the stars. One tale, shared by an elder named Zhang Wei, describes lights in the sky followed by the rise of a great settlement near the lake. The star-guided builders, according to legend, brought wisdom that shaped the city's design. These stories predate modern technology, passed down long before the 2001 discovery of the underwater structures. They describe a place of wonder, with towers and steps that mirrored the heavens. The myths align eerily with the site's features, like the pillar circle and pyramid, which could have served as an ancient observatory. Could these tales hold a grain of truth, preserving memories of an extraordinary event? The site's scale and craftsmanship add to the mystery. Spanning 2.4 square kilometers, the settlement is massive, with walls stretching over 50 meters and staircases built with uniform steps. The stones, some weighing tons, are cut and placed with a precision that seems advanced for the time. The carvings on the pillars, though faint, include patterns that resemble celestial symbol spirals, lines, and curves found in star maps of other ancient cultures. This level of engineering suggests a culture with tools, math, and perhaps knowledge beyond what we attribute to the Dian kingdom. If not the Dian, who could have built this and why in such a remote lake? The idea of an otherworldly connection isn't just about aliens. It could point to a lost civilization with advanced astronomical skills. Skeptics, of course, push back. They argue the alignments could be coincidental, with natural rock formations or erosion mimicking purposeful designs. The myths, they say, are just folklore, exaggerated over generations to explain the lake's strange reflections. The Dian kingdom, with its known bronze work and settlements, remains the simpler explanation. Yet, the site's precision challenges this view. Natural formations don't form perfect circles or align with constellations. The artifacts, dated to 250 CE, show human craftsmanship, but their style doesn't perfectly match Dian designs, leaving room for doubt. The lack of clear records about such a grand city in Yunnan only deepens the puzzle. The local context adds intrigue. Villagers have long seen a phantom city reflected on the lake's surface, a phenomenon tied to its clear water and high altitude. These visions, described as glowing walls and steps, match the underwater structures but also feel otherworldly, like glimpses of a lost world. Some locals believe the lake is sacred, a place where the heavens and earth meet. This belief, combined with the star-guided builder myths, suggests the site held spiritual significance, perhaps as a bridge to the cosmos. The lake's depth, preserving the structures in near-perfect condition, makes it feel like a vault for secrets too big for history to hold. This celestial theory doesn't have hard proof, but it captivates the imagination. The pillar alignments, pyramids design, and ancient stories point to a purpose beyond daily life. Was the city a gift from the stars, a beacon for the heavens, or the work of a forgotten genius? Fuxian Lake keeps these questions alive, its waters hiding answers just out of reach. The idea of an otherworldly origin transforms the site into more than a ruin. It's a mystery that stretches to the skies, urging us to wonder what lies beyond our world. Fuxian Lake in Yunnan, China, is a place of quiet beauty, its glassy surface hiding a submerged city of moss-covered staircases, towering walls, and carved pillars. This underwater enigma, possibly tied to the lost Dian kingdom or something stranger, has captivated the world. But the lake's secrets don't end with its ancient ruins. Beyond the city's mystery, Fuxian Lake is alive with otherworldly phenomena: glowing lights in the sky, vanishing boats and divers, and eerie sounds rising from the depths. These mysteries, woven together by local lore and unexplained events, suggest the lake is more than a historical site. It's a restless guardian of secrets, where the supernatural seems to linger, whispering clues to those who listen. Together, these phenomena paint Fuxian Lake as a place where the past, present, and perhaps something beyond collide. Every so often, when the moon hides and the stars shine bright, Fuxian Lake's night sky comes alive. Villagers and visitors have long reported seeing strange lights, glowing orbs, or streaks that hover above the water. These aren't like stars or planes. They dart and weave, sometimes plunging into the lake before vanishing. A fisherman named Lu Hao, speaking in a 2023 documentary, recalled a bright blue sphere he saw in the 1990s. It floated silently, then dove straight into the water, he said, his eyes wide with wonder. It was like it belonged to the lake. Tourists in 2024 shared similar tales on X, describing pulsing lights near the southern shore that flickered and faded without a trace. Locals believe these lights are tied to the submerged city, perhaps spirits of its ancient builders or energies trapped in the ruins. Some stories go further, linking the lights to myths of star-guided builders who came from the heavens to create the city. The idea isn't as wild as it sounds. The underwater pillars, mapped in 2023, align with constellations from 250 CE, hinting at an astronomical purpose. Could the lights be a remnant of that cosmic connection, a signal from the city's creators? Scientists suggest natural causes, like ball lightning or methane sparks, but the lake's tectonic quirks make these explanations shaky. The lights appear too often, too purposefully, to be easily dismissed, tying the sky to the lake in a dance of mystery. Fuxian Lake has a darker secret, one whispered with caution by those who live nearby. Over the years, boats and divers have vanished into its depths, leaving no trace. Fishermen tell of vessels disappearing on calm days, their crews never found. In the 1980s, a small fishing boat carrying 3 men vanished under a clear sky. Villagers searched for weeks, but the lake offered no answers, no wreckage, no bodies. These stories, though rare, have built a legend of a curse guarding the submerged city, as if it rejects intruders. divers face even stranger fates. In 2006, a team of 4 set out to explore the lakebed structures but lost contact with their support crew. Only 2 returned, shaken and confused, saying their equipment failed without warning. The other 2 were never found, swallowed by the lake's 155-meter depth, where recovery is nearly impossible. Locals see this as more than bad luck. They believe the city is protected by unseen forces, punishing those who disturb its rest. Some compare it to the curse of Tan Tui Hong's tomb, where trespassers met grim ends. Skeptics blame strong currents or faulty gear, but the pattern is chilling. The lights in the sky often appear before these vanishings, villagers say, as if signaling the lake's intent. Could the same force behind the lights be guarding the city, claiming those who venture too close? As if lights and disappearances weren't enough, Fuxian Lake speaks literally. Fishermen and campers report hearing strange sounds from the water. Low hums, faint whispers, or even music-like tones. These noises are clearest at dawn or dusk, when the lake is still. A 2024 Mysterious Universe article described a tourist who recorded a haunting hum while camping. The sound, like a deep vibration, pulsed for minutes before fading. Locals call it the lake's voice, believing it's the submerged city calling out, its ancient residents still lingering in the depths. These sounds tie directly to the other mysteries. Villagers say the hums grow louder when the sky lights appear, as if the lake is responding to the heavens. Disappearances, too, are often preceded by eerie noises, like whispers warning of danger. One elder, Ma Ying, swears she heard soft voices the night before the 1980s boat vanished. The 2023 surveys tried to crack this puzzle with hydrophones, but the sounds had no clear source. Scientists point to tectonic vibrations or water flowing through caves, but the noise's human-like quality, sometimes resembling chants or murmurs, defies logic. The sounds are strongest when the phantom city reflects on the water, linking them to the ruins below. Are these echoes of the city's past, or is the lake itself alive, guarding its secrets with a voice of its own? These 3 mysteries: lights, vanishings, and sounds are not separate but intertwined, each amplifying the others. The lights in the sky, darting like messengers, seem to herald the lake's protective curse, claiming boats and divers who stray too near the city. The sounds, rising from the depths, feel like a warning or a lament, tying the vanishings to the city's restless spirit. Together, they form a single narrative. Fuxian Lake is no ordinary place. It's a living mystery, where the submerged city is only part of a larger, cosmic puzzle. The lights suggest a connection to the stars, perhaps echoing the builder's celestial knowledge. The vanishings hint at a force that guards the ruins, linked to the lights and sounds. The noises, like the lake's heartbeat, tie it all together, as if the city is still alive, speaking through the water. Local lore weaves these threads into a haunting story. Villagers believe the lake is sacred, a bridge between earth and the heavens, where the submerged city holds secrets too powerful to uncover. The lights, they say, are the builder's spirits watching over their creation. The vanishings are their judgment, sparing only those who respect the lake's power. The sounds are their voices, guiding or warning those who listen. These tales, passed down for generations, predate modern science, yet they match the phenomena reported today. The 2023-2024 surveys, with their sonar maps and artifacts, only deepen the mystery, showing a city too grand, too precise to fully explain. Skeptics offer practical answers: lightning, currents, vibrations, but they struggle to account for the phenomena's consistency and connection. The lights move with purpose, the vanishings defy logic, and the sounds carry an eerie clarity. Standing on Fuxian Lake's shore, watching the water shimmer and listening for its whispers. You can't help but feel the weight of the unknown. The lake is a guardian, a storyteller, a mystery that binds the sky, the depths, and the past. Its lights, losses, and voices are clues to something bigger, something that ties the submerged city to a truth we're only beginning to glimpse. Fuxian Lake doesn't just hold a city, it holds a secret, and it's waiting for us to listen. If unexplained stories give you chills, don't forget to follow Ancient Relics Keeper, where time and mystery intertwine, and every ending is just the beginning of another unanswered question.